Hello, everybody. You're probably not here yet because when I set up the next stream, guess what? I forgot to change the date and time. But I'm here now, and hopefully, if this confused you too much, you'll catch us on the replay. So, hello, everybody. This fine September 26th, the last Sunday of September. Has anybody else noticed that time is flying by? I mean, I just got through saying, wow, it's already September, and boom, it's gone. I think somebody's playing with the clock. Anyway, so hello, everybody. There you are. I'm so sorry that when I set up the new stream, I totally forgot to change the date and time. So I do apologize, but I'm so glad you're here. And I've got a full show of things to show you and to talk about, and even a quilt. In fact, I better write on there. I've got a quilt on the back of this frame, and I better not forget to show it to you. I'm excited about it. So let me get a marker and go. It's a city skyline quilt. So, because, I'm afraid I'll get just chatting away and forget. But anyway, hello, Diane57. Hello, Carol. And I have some good photos to show you this afternoon. And while hi, Alberta, I'm sorry. I was telling them when I go to set up when I'm finished with this show, I set up the new live stream because it's right there. Totally forgot to change the date and time. So it had me doing another show over a week ago, and I apologize if y'all showed up for that. And there was nobody at 5 o'clock. I didn't finish the show till 5. So anyway, hi, Miss Jody. So good to see you. And Laura, hi, sweetie. Okay, just to tell you really quickly, next week's show is going to be Saturday afternoon instead of Sunday afternoon. So it'll be Saturday afternoon at, let's say, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Because Saturday, for some people, is a real busy day. They're getting everything ready. So next week's show, hello, Melissa. And there's Jody and Melissa, both from Ohio. So what we'll do is and I'll make sure I record it correctly, but next week's show is going to be Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And because Sunday I'm going to be getting ready. I've got a camping trip coming up and I've got too much to do. But anyway, so just know that next week's show, and I'll put a reminder on the group. So, and you'll notice here that I have the fifth block. I went ahead and made it completely because it was so simple. It was so simple. And I really like it, but there's a problem. Has anybody noticed the problem with this fifth block? Hi, Miss Pat. Patricia's here and Pat is here. That's wonderful. Here's block number 5. Do you notice anything about it? I didn't notice until I finished it today and put it up and went, oops. Let me show you the pattern. You got it, Alberta. Way to go. What I did, let me show you the pattern first. Come on. Okay. Here is this week's pattern. Okay. And it looks like little triangle trees. What makes this block really cool is how you've got the 2 little patches under there. And to make the block really cool, I chose 2 different colors for these 2 patches. Well, I told you to write down what fabric you're going to put where so you won't get it confused. Well, I got it confused. And I think I wrote it on the paper right, but I think when it came time to put it on, you know how you have to turn it over? I got it confused. So this whole block is messed up just because that one segment, or both, well, let me see. This segment was wrong. And so what I would need to do is bring, no, or did I get both of them wrong? I think I got both segments wrong. So I must have written on there, I must have written them in opposite orders. So anyway, I will be taking that back out. What's probably going to be easier is just go ahead and use this and make both those blocks over again. Because I don't know if you've done enough paper piecing, but it's a bear to tear out paper piecing. When you turn that stitch length down to 1.8, those are tiny stitches. So I just thought I would show you. Make sure you write down in all of these little places what color, and make sure you really have it in the right order. So I will be taking that block out and redoing it. But now we have 5 of the 12 done. So and I already put the pattern on our website, our group's IO, and there it is. And you know, I was going to put a picture of the block, but I can't put it this way because you'll get confused. So I better fix it first. You think? No, I still think even if, I don't know. I'll have to try to look again at it. I think I have a problem. So I will double check that and do it again before I put a picture on the site. But this pattern is on the site. And this pattern, when it came off, this pattern came from the Wombat Quilts site from the wonderful, amazing country of Australia. And this block, any blocks that half of these blocks are made for 8-inch blocks, but I decided to make them 12-inch. So when I do these, I have to go on in EQ8 and upsize it. So anyway, but I did it. But I think it's going to come together really good. This week, I'm going to go ahead and design the sashing and the binding because I have an idea that I think would work well. So I will get that done. And, oh, there you go. Oh, that's cute. So anyway, but just to let you know, anybody who would like this block, please if you're not part of our group, if you're part of our group, they're on the website and they're stuck. So it's real easy to see them. And when I say stuck, it's like they're pinned to the beginning part. But if you aren't a member of our site and would like them, then just, let me put the glasses on. I'm still not used to it. Our time to quilt, at pwc.com. Oh, no, that's fine, Laura. You know, because you keep thinking, well, if they're not right that way, if you flip them, no, I don't think so. But anyway, so I think what happened is when I was writing on them, I got it confused. But anyway, I will send you the pattern for this and the photo to kind of help you, because otherwise you're looking at this going, what do I do with this? Is this a lollipop? What is this? So I will make sure to send you a picture too. So anyway, that's this week's. And do you realize that next week's block, we will be halfway there? So I'm very excited. And I've got to figure out next week, I might be doing the 6th and the 7th block, depending on when we're going to go camping. I don't want you to get off track because we're determined to have a brand new Christmas quilt before Christmas. So it's looking good. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think once I get those colors fixed, I absolutely love the pinwheel. I kind of wish now I had done red and white so it would look like a peppermint, you know? But I did what I did. All right, I still don't have the video put up, but I think I'm closer to an answer. Mark helped me download. I was telling y'all that, you know, you have the memory cards. I don't see one here, but you have the little memory cards. Well, the newer laptop only has a micro mini slot. I mean, they don't give you a tray anymore, a CD tray. You know, they just keep cutting stuff out of this, you know. And so he showed me how to put an external hard drive and how I can't explain it to you, but he helped me do it. So I will be getting that put up. Oh, you know what? If I get that put up, if I do go camping at some point, you'll have something to watch. That's a great idea. All right. So I've still got my fall decorating back here. And I'm really, really excited because besides my sweet little things I did last week, Mark was going to the hardware store and he said, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "Yes, I need a 50-pound bag or 60-pound bag of structural, quick drying Portland cement." He's like, "What?" Well, there's this cutest woman on YouTube, and she's like 83 years old, and she does the cutest crafts. And, you know, I barely started my crafts this summer, so I'm just going to keep them going. So, hi, Cheryl. And Polly's here. And Polly, I think I had it wrong. I think it was Jeannie that I was sewing with on Jitsi that I told about my heart test. Not you, Polly, but I get confused. But if you were confused by that, Polly, that's why. But anyway, I had him get me some drywall mesh. And what I'll do is when I make certain things, you use the drywall mesh as the reinforcement, the rebar, so to speak, in the fast drying concrete. So I've got some ideas of things to make. I can't wait. And you'll just have to wait and see what I do. But I said, give me 2 of these. And he did. And I've got my he said it's a big old bag of Portland cement. And it's supposed to be kind of structural and it dries fast. So I've got that plus my 2 rolls of drywall mesh so I can reinforce what I do. And because, you know, I have to do this stuff before it gets too cold. Once it gets too cold. And I want to complain. I want to put a complaint in to the weather gods. And the complaint is we go straight from summer to too cold. If I do go camping and the daytime temperatures are less than 75 degrees, I don't think I'm going to be able to go swimming. And how does it go from Cheryl Lemon is here? Woo woo! Bring down the house. Our Cheryl Lemon is here. And if it goes from mid-90s to within 2 weeks to mid-70s, that's too fast. So I don't know if I'll be able to go swimming or not. We shall see. But anyway, okay. So now I told you about the change of next week's live stream to Saturday at 4 p.m. And that's Eastern Standard Time, or as they say, New York time. And all right, then there's another thing I need to ask you. I've only gotten like 3 entries for the pincushion contest, and I haven't made one yet. I have been too busy. So what do you think that we change? I want to ask, especially that I know, well, Marcia's not here, but there's 3 ladies that have entered. What do you think if we push the date back to November 1st? That would give me more time. And that way I can go ahead and make my mine's not going to be for judging. It's just going to be for fun. But if I hurry up and get that made, it'll promote the contest. But is that okay if we push the deadline back to November 1st? What do y'all think? Because it's, I want y'all to be happy with this. It's only fair. Is that okay? Because I do want to make a pen cushion, and I thought, I got a busy week coming up this week, too. Now I understand. Cheryl Hogan, I think you were the one that said, okay, good. Cheryl was what it is, because I wanted to do it in 2 weeks, and everybody's like, no. Cheryl's like, you need more time to do this. So November 1st, and I'll put it on the website, our group's IO site. So we'll go to November 1st. It'll give me some more time, too. All right. Thank you, Alberta. Thank you, Diane57. Thank you, Cheryl. And, good, Polly. All right. Laura, thank you so much for supporting me with that. Okay. Now, I've been working, on my, let me find a scrap that I don't think I want to use. This is my basket of fabrics that I'm using for my Christmas blocks, okay? So I'll get a little scrap here. And what I have been showing you as I've been working on these, normally I do part of it with y'all here. Whoops, get it down further, Deb. All right, here we go. And so I've been cutting, and as you notice, see how it only partially cuts? So I thought I would show you what I do to keep my blades sharp, okay? Now, normally you might want to put let's put this guard over here so I'm a little more protected. And this is a Martinelli, and I love it because it's ergonomic. It keeps my hand level. But these blades get dull fast. So y'all know I'm on a budget, and I don't want to waste money at all. So let me show you how I sharpen these up. I have a number of these. Dritz is one of the makers of them. I think it might be the only one, but it's a dual rotary blade sharpener, okay? And these cost about $15 to $20, depending on where you get it, okay? And it comes with this piece and this piece with two sides on it. All right, so you open this up. You take your blade very carefully, and you put the blade here, and make sure it's centered. Then you screw down the other side of this until you get it pretty snug, and it looks reasonably even around the edge, okay? Yes, blade sharpeners are important because, honest to goodness, we can't afford to replace these blades that often. So I first take and I put it on the tan, heavier grit. And I do like this, but if you notice, my hand only turns so far. I want to make sure I get all the edges of the blade evenly sharp. So I turn my hand around. See how I did that? And then I go again. All right. Now I want to do the other side of the blade. So I turn this over, drop it back down on the tan side, and I do this. I'm pushing firmly. And it works with any 45 millimeter blade. Is it 45? Yeah, because the other smaller one's 28. And oops, it loosened up. Hold on. Okay. Now, so I just got through doing this. So what I have to do again is turn my hand. And that way it makes it 180 degrees differently placed to rotate. All right. And you'll even notice it gets very shiny. Now what I do is I turn over to this side. And I take, and this one more is a smoother and a honer. This one it really does the sharpening. So now I put it on the black side and I do this. Then I stop, turn my hand again, because I want to make sure I get it all around. I don't want it to have any little places where it's not fully done, okay? So now I turn it over to the other side of the blade, and I'm pushing good too, right? Okay, so I did it that. So now I have to turn my hand this way, so I make sure I get all areas of the blade. All right, so now I'm done with this. What we're going to do is see if I improved this blade. All right, I take this off, put this back together. I keep it in this bag here, and they don't last forever. You know, the sandpaper can get kind of glommed up and stuff, so you'll have to replace it at some point. This is the tricky part right here, where you have to push the blade back in. So be careful, especially after you've sharpened it. And now I'm going to put, okay, all right. Now, and yes, any of your rotary cutters and your 45 millimeter or something blades. Now let's see. Last time when I cut it, it only did part of the way. So let's try it again. Ready? Let's see. Yes, much better. I'm going to even double it up. Let's see how it does. Very, very good. So I've extended the life of this, and you can sharpen it a good several times before you go, okay, I'll just get a new blade. But you can see how shiny it is now. Also, when you're sharpening your blade, it is, let me find my sewing machine brush. This is not my favorite, but it will work. I don't know where my good one. Let me just use this little one. But when you have your rotary cutter taken apart, it's a really good time to try to, let me see if I can find a better brush. I normally keep, there it is. It's a good time to take and clean out your cutter, because you will get some lint in there that can cause little problems. I can see the dark, well, now some of it's the writing where I write my name on it, but then what I do too is, and don't worry, there's no blade in here, it's just the cutter, but I will take a piece of paper and try to run it in and clean out, because sometimes, look, see the dirt? Sometimes that titanium are wonderful. They're more expensive, but you know, anything that works. But I'll run paper in here because the brush can't always get all the way in. But I give this cutter a real good cleaning. All right, now when I put the blade back in, and you know, I would say do this every new project. Start a project with, oh, see this piece of lint that came out? It was hanging down below. So I would start a new project with a new sharpened blade. All right, let's try this again. And it keeps the blade will roll. Oh man, that rolled so much easier. Look at this. But do you see the difference? Now, whoops, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I might have been at a funny area of the mat. So much, much better. Okay. Now, so now we've taken care of a dull rotary cutter. Now, let's talk about scissors. We all know that we don't want to use scissors for paper, that we want to use mainly for fabric, because the paper will dull scissors, okay? Now, I bought this years ago. I love this thing because I don't often have time or want to take the time to go find someone who sharpens scissors and then stand around and wait or leave my stuff or whatever. This is a Fiskars brand. See this? This runs about $12. Well worth it. And what you do is you take and you put your scissors in and you do the scissor motion as it comes out. Push it in as far as up and go all the way to the end. Don't just do the middle part. Do the whole length of the scissor. And I always get confused. What side is the cutting side? So I turn the scissors over and I do that other side too. And the way the stone is tilted, the sharpening stone in there, the way it's tilted, I think does a pretty... Hi, Beverly! Hello! Oh, it's okay. And don't worry if you ever miss the start. This video will be up forever, so you can come back and watch it. Some of our people get a little busy, and now normally I do this over a trash can. I don't ever see metal shaving, but since I go barefoot everywhere, I don't want to step on metal shavings. But this is amazing, and I mean, it sharpens. So, in fact, I'm going to a retreat in November, and they've got a scissor sharpener showing up. But I said, you know what? I'm very happy with the sharpening I get from here. I never have to buy. The only time I have to, hi, Marcia. The only time I ever have to buy new scissors, if it's like one of these and I've used it for 20 years and it finally starts to fall apart. But it's amazing. And my little snips that I use all the time, I sharpen these a lot. So being self-sufficient, having your own scissor sharpener is a good thing. And then having your rotary blade sharpener. Now they make electric ones that I'm sure are amazing. But $15 versus $50, you know why I use this. I'm so cheap. But anyway, I just thought I would remind you that there are tools that help us keep our supplies sharp and ready to go. Now, nowadays, we think of our pens as disposable. But back in the day, in the colonial days, pens were precious, because to try to make that metal and make it that thin. Now, I recommend, if you've ever had an old-fashioned tomato pen cushion, you might have wondered, what is the little strawberry doing hanging on to the pen cushion? The strawberry has some kind of emery powder. And you remember fingernail files were called emery boards? That is to keep your pens and needles sharp. So what you would do is you would get a pen and you just come in here and you push it in that little strawberry and it sharpens your pens back up, because you don't want a dull pen that's going to prick the fabric. But that's what those little strawberries were for on the pen cushions. What I do now, in fact, we're talking about having a pen cushion contest. What I do with my pen cushion is in the top part, I put walnut shells. And that is a wonderful way to help keep, every time you put your pen away, it takes off any glue or residue. It straightens out the edge of the pen and gives it a little sharpness. So when I made this pen cushion, When I made it and stuffed it, I stuffed it from underneath. I put in the walnut, the ground walnut shells in the bottom, and then put good leftover batting scraps in, packed it nice and tight, and stitched it together. But that, as long as you're not allergic to nuts, that's a great way to keep your pen sharp. So these are little ways for us to take good care of the tools we use every day. And don't forget as well, at least every project, take your good, you see, I've put a lot of good use in this. It used to be white, but every project, I don't think you have to do it every bobbin change, but every project, take that time to clean out your bobbin area of your machine. Get a screwdriver, take off the bobbin plate cover, and get in there really good. If you have a small vacuum cleaner, especially one of those computer tips on it that can allow you to get all around the computer keyboard, then definitely take that and vacuum out the inside bobbin area of your machine and up with the light in the light area, anywhere that lint goes. Never blow into a sewing machine. Number one, you don't want to introduce the moisture from your breath, and blowing it in can gum it up in all the gears and shorten the life of your machine. Another little thing I was thinking about today, I'm just full of good tips. But I think sometimes the season's changing kind of makes me, besides wanting to clean and get things organized, it also kind of says, let's look at this again and see what can I do. We develop bad habits when we're in a hurry. So sometimes it's good to revisit. One thing I did the other day, do you see all of these gray bobbins? I've been sewing a lot, and I said, I hate it when the bobbin runs out. And I'd gotten into the terrible habit of winding the bobbin when I run out. And I said, you know what? I don't like doing that. I don't like stopping what I'm doing to wind a new bobbin. So what I did is I was very nice to myself, and I wound 6 gray bobbins at one time, before I started back to work. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one that was on the machine. So if you're going to start a big project, especially if your sewing time is busy, hit and miss, whatever, wind the bobbins you need for the whole project. You will thank yourself. Because, there was the cutest sign I remember seeing, and it says, it's all fun and games until the bobbin runs out. And I thought, that is so true, because a bobbin running out, it always happens when I'm really into the groove, and the bobbin runs out, and then you have to stop what you're doing and wind a new bobbin, and that's irritating. One time I ended up buying a Singer machine because you could wind the bobbin without taking it out. Well, that didn't turn out to be so good because the bobbin was tiny, so it was running out all the time. So just stick with your bobbins, wind them up ahead of time. If you're going to go to a class or if you're going to go to a retreat, wind whatever color you think you might use into a bobbin. And let me get I keep a basket ready at all times so that if I get a chance to go somewhere and sew, and this tube was the tube that my silk YLI threads came out of. And so what I do, see the little hair scrunchies? Before I go on the retreat, I make sure I have all of the bobbin colors I'm going to need. I put them in here, and then I'm ready to go. So somebody's messaging me. And Charlene Lawson is here. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, okay. Oh, this is cool. All right. Oh, goodness. Looks like one of my kids went to a camp out. So maybe I'll be able to show you later. But, oh, wait a minute. Hold on one second. I've got the coolest pictures to show you that Nadine sent. She went to a castle for a medieval fest. I have no idea what this is. So anyway, okie dokie. He sent me a picture, but I don't know what it is. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm used to when that goes off during my show, I'm used to Susan trying to let me know something that I've done wrong. And even though Susan's not on today's show, I can't help but look at it. So I see we have some new people. Christine O'Brien, hello, hello. And, oh, my blocks are beautiful. Guess what, though, Miss Charlene? Now, y'all know I've been quilting since 1990, which is 30 years. I did this quadrant's blocks wrong. Yes, I did. So I've got to take out that quadrant and put a new one in. But I'm loving them. They're bright and happy. And wait till you see the pictures of what other people have done. I love it. But anyway, we're now up to 5 of 12. Next, just coming up week, we'll be halfway there. It's always helpful. Take one bite at a time. We can all manage one bite at a time. So let me see who else is here. Hi, Beverly. Are you the one I sent pattern to? Because I'm real tickled to see you. Whoops. Okay. My phone's trying to get my attention. All right. Yes. Yep. Debbie's here. Hi, Debbie. Deborah Holt. Debbie Holt. This is so nice to see all of you. Oh, Cheryl Lemon, I have heard of those. You just roll the cutter through. That's a great idea. And Melissa Lamb, make sure you're pushing firmly. Do the tan side first, then the black side last. And make sure you change direction of your hand halfway through. Because the problem is if you get certain ridges, if you only do like that and stop, you've only done partial. You haven't done a total 360. By turning your hand one more turn, then you can get the whole blade. Okay? All right. And push firmly, and then they work beautifully. You need block number 1, okay? Anytime you need something from me, the very best thing is to shoot me an email at ourtimetoquilt@twc.com. Because sometimes when you tell me on the show, by the time the show's over, I mean, brain like a sieve sometimes. A colander. I just, So if you send me, I'm really, really, really good. I think most people will tell you I'm really good at answering your emails. So I know about the 5:30 to 3. Oh, okay. That's great. Okay, do you think it would sharpen the sewing machine needle? Yes. If you use that little emery or walnut shells, you can even sharpen your sewing machine needle. The one reason the sewing machine needle is a little trickier to resharpen is those sewing machine needles get so much stress. They're going so fast, and you're pushing fabric through or pulling it. Sometimes they get slightly bent. And instead of it losing its sharpness, it could just be that it's slightly warped or bent. You can't fix that. So I now have my first pack of sewing machine needles that are titanium. I'm curious to see how they work. But what I would suggest, the good old-fashioned way, buy good sewing machine needles, put a new one in for every project. That's what I do. I do it with my quilting too. But with your sewing, if you have a pen like this and it's warped, who cares? But when it's that sewing machine needle that has to be precision, you don't want it warped or bent in any way. So be careful with sewing machine needles. You can try it. You can try sharpening it with your little emery thing. But if it's been a whole project, might want to put in a new one. Now, I'm curious. If I'm paying the extra for these titaniums, I want them to do 2 sewing projects. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. I thought I would show you. Let me make sure. I love your questions. So also, if you are asking me a question, put it in all caps. It helps me to see that somebody wants my attention. Because I love y'all chatting. And I love y'all come on here and just chat about anything you want. And I just want to make sure that if you're wanting my attention, that you get it. Okay? So, all right. I just wanted to tell you, I bought some ears of corn 2 weeks ago. And I said, ooh, you don't want to recycle everything. But I don't think I would want to use a meat tray to try to save, because I don't know how clean you can really get it. But if a vegetable comes in it, save it. And then that way you can put your current supplies in it like this and keep your work area nice and tidy. You can carry this from room to room when you go. So when I got this and it only had corn in it, I went, yay. I was easily able to wash and dry this, and now I have a nice little tray. Also, when you're working on your block, make sure you put your lid back on the glue. I came down this morning and the lid was off. I was not a happy camper. Now, what you can do is take little drops of room temperature water and drop a few drops in there, then put the lid back on, and then set it back up and hope you rehydrate it. But the best thing is, don't leave the lid off. So, I tell you the things I do because you know what? If I do them, somebody else might do it. And how do I try to fix it? Also, I try to buy things like those glue sticks when Walmart has their school sales, and I got a 2-pack for 50 cents. That's my price. So, all right, I thought I would tell you about this. Then this week, I was going to lay in the hammock, and I wanted to keep my hands busy laying in the hammock. So I made another one of these Dorset buttons, and I used the big ring, which is this big ring. The outer diameter is 2 inches. And so I turned this, I did orange thread. I turned it into a pumpkin. And I didn't put a face on it because I want to be able to wear this in September and October. But I did the little darker brown lines in it to make it look like the lobes of the pumpkin. And Mark said, oh, you put a spider web in it? No. So I might have to try to work on doing that lobe thing better. But I love that when you make these Dorset buttons, the backs are so awesome looking. But then I just took a little bit of thread to make like the leaves. And do you see I made a little stem right there from brown? And I'm going to put a pin on it. And then that way, if I want to wear it, just something to keep my hands busy. And did you know that you can buy a pack of, it's not DMC floss, but it's a floss. I got this pack of 150 skeins for less than $10. So, you have to look at Amazon or you have to look at Walmart and stuff. But to make this stuff, I don't need to use DMC. And I was pleased at the quality or maybe I got it off of eBay. But you know me, Trying to save money. All right. So, I told you about the Christmas block and my boo-boo. But you know what? Some of you who like Jody with her colors, you'll be able to do that block. I didn't think about it until I looked at it all together and went, that would have been so cool in red and white. It would look like a peppermint. So, but anyway. So I took a class Friday, and I was so excited. And the teacher's name is Julia Quiltoff. I know. Is that her real last name? But it was a Mancuso show, and the show was last week, and I think it was the Pacific show or something. But this week they had the classes, the distance learning classes. So you could take a virtual class, and I signed up for one. And you see these? You have seen these panels, I'm sure. I bought this some number of years ago and said, whenever I get really good, you're right. Mark goes, that looks odd. That's Mark, but he makes me a better artist. So you got to have somebody who can tell it to you straight. But anyway, I've had this Dahlia panel for quite a while and said, when I get good enough on my long arm, I'm going to quilt it. Well, it hadn't happened yet. So I saw a class, and this is listed through Mancuso. And I saw a class by the cutest, most talented gal. And I took it. And it was, how do you quilt? Now you have the panel. What do you do with it? And I forgot to bring the pages down, so I'll have to show them to you next week. But I was furiously writing and drawing notes. And it was a half-day class. And boy, did I learn some great things. So when I finally start working on it, maybe I'll make a quick little video to kind of show you a couple of the things. I'm still afraid. I'm still worried that it's not going to look like what I want it to look like. But you know what? I'm burning daylight. And how much longer do I have to wait? I don't have another 10 years to practice before I do it. If I'm going to enjoy it before, sometimes we put things off thinking, I'll be really good at it next year. Come on, ladies. We've got to just seize the day. Carpe diem. That sounds like a fish. But anyway, you know what I mean. So I'll show you the papers where I took notes and stuff. It was so cute. I was just going to town. And it was an excellent class. And she had lots of examples. She gave us so much information. And I learned things that I wish I had known years ago. So very sweet, young gal. Everybody's young to me, but young gal who's so talented. So be looking for her. And I think she even offers teaches long arm quilting and gives you good hints. And she's very, very talented. All right. So now I thought I've been talking to y'all because hold on. Let me just check. I don't want to miss anything. So I told you about the class I took Friday, the Christmas block. We're at block number 5, and I already put the pattern on the web on our group's IO. And that's another thing. If I've noticed you twice on here and you would like to join our group's IO, we share free patterns, we share techniques, we give each other advice, we share our photos of either families, our work, all of that. It's another way to keep the Sunday thing going. So if you send me an email at Our Time to Quilt, where I typed it up there, Linda McCollum, I've been saying I've got to write Linda, make sure she's feeling okay. We've missed you, beautiful lady. But if you write me an email at ourtimetoquilt@twc.com, I will send you an invitation. In fact, we've had a couple new people on here. Deborah Holt, didn't we invite you? I think you're part of our group. And Melissa, a few other people are relatively new members. So we're really excited. We learned from you. But boy, I've missed you, Miss Linda. Boy, I have missed you. So I think I'm pretty much up to date then. Remember that next week's live stream is going to be Saturday at 4 p.m. That way we can come, get together, chat, and still be off in time for dinner. No Sunday chat next week. It's going to be Saturday instead. All right, so I've been talking to a couple people lately, people who found my paper bead making videos and wanted more information. And, you know, I tell y'all this. I love paper bead making. I don't know why. I just do. And I no longer buy anything to do it. I use all junk mail. But I've been wanting to do another bead making video and update it because certain things I don't use anymore, like Mod Podge. I don't use anymore because it tends to say tacky. And when the beads sit in the bag afterwards, they kind of lump up. So I now use triple thick, but there's all different kinds of good varnishes that you can use. So last week I showed you how I made my new bead dryers, and just by taking a nice piece of plasticized foam, like styrofoam, but it's out of a nice plastic with layers, and I put polyurethane on my toothpicks and then stuck them in, which made them hold. Boy, they're working wonderfully. I'm hoping they won't get all gummed up like the raw natural wood ones did. And so far, when I pull those beads off, they come right off. So, loving it, loving it. And, hectic with doctors. Oh, yes. I saw the cardiologist, too. I know what you mean. I was terrified of seeing a cardiologist. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. But, yes, Debbie is a member. I thought so. But yeah, it's worth sticking with it. You know, people, I tend to be a person that it would be easy for me to hide my head in the sand, but you can't get better that way. But anyway, so as I've been thinking about doing another paper bead video, it's made me kind of go, I wonder what's out there, anything new in the bead world. This is my favorite bead maker. And things I love about it is the bead blade, which is stainless steel, so beads don't stick on it like they did with the other raw metal ones. And do you see the plunger? It pops the bead off for you. That's wonderful because I got tired of trying to stick my fingernails. And I don't know about you ladies, but as you get older, your fingernails break more easily. That's not fun. So I got tired of, oh, no aspirin. Okay. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, Melissa. Yeah, I think Melissa Lamb is another one of our new members. I'm sorry, honey. Let us know how you do. You're doing okay, though, Linda. Okay. We love our Linda. Okay. So this is my favorite bead maker. And you can get these from Fire Mountain Bead Company, and they're about $10, $10.60 or something like that plus shipping. I love it. I told Mark I'm going to be ordering a new one because I've been using this. See, it's a little loosey-goosey. I've been using this as my go-to bead maker for 2 years, so I want to make sure to get a backup. And I like this purple one's the bigger one. They have one in green that's smaller, but I love this. So this is my very favorite. Also, instead of turning the whole bead maker when you're making the bead, you just spin. See how you just spin like this instead of going like this. So it's a little easier on my fingers, my wrist. I have arthritis, so it's a little easier. I love this thing. Love it. All right, so I will be ordering a new one. Fire Mountain Beads, about $10.60. You can use a crochet hook. You can use a toothpick to roll them. Whatever floats your boat. And I always tell people, don't invest a lot until you know if you like it. You might not like it. So as I've been watching YouTube, of course, videos, I have been trying to see what's new on the market. And I ended up finding these sheets. And these were giveaways. And you know what? I don't think I have the person. But if you go and look at some of the YouTube video shows, or go type in free paper bead patterns. And this was a free one. Now, it only had half this number on one page. And you know how cheap I am. So what I did is I printed 2 pages. I cut one page up into the strips, glued them on here, scanned them into my computer so I can now fill a page. And I made them longer and wider to fill up that page as much as I could. If I'm going to make them, I'm going to make them. So here they are. Now, I wouldn't buy these, and I'm going to tell you why. I love that, and it was really, really, really sweet. But here are the beads. Let me see. Let me get a couple out. I had 2 different color pages. One, that's the blue one you just saw. But I found that my printer didn't really print them as vibrant as I wanted, so I used markers to color them. These are kind of small for me. And so I would say don't buy them. Anything you can print on a page is kind of small. And if you had them as a necklace, you'd barely see them. They're fine for scissor fobs. But in all of these, let me see. All of these, I kind of bumped up the color a little bit. Now, if you had a better printer, then you might get a better result. And here was a cool one. I thought that was right cool. So, but I'm going to show you what I normally, so these came from a pattern I found online, and then I printed them out and made them. But that uses up your paper and it uses up your ink. These are all made from junk. I did not buy anything with these. Okay, this is all junk mail. Now, here is another bag. This had more different colors in it. All junk mail. Look at this. All junk mail. Honestly, I like these better. They're bigger, they're bulkier, they're easy to see. So, I thought, well, I'll come on here and tell you, I don't know how good that, enjoy whatever's out there, but I'm just saying, make sure you don't pay for them. Now, this is an exception. Do you see this bead? That looks like porcelain. Once it has the finish on it, I do like this one. And I guess I enlarged it, or it might have come this way. And you're probably wondering, how does that make a paper bead when it's got so much white space here? Well, that's because you don't see that part. You mostly only see the last couple inches. And the way it rolls, you see this outside strip. So when you take this page, and I printed these out on a really good quality, they look like the beautiful blue and white porcelain. And so here is what the strip looks like. Okay? Now, it has this cut down the middle. I rolled one out the width that it came and didn't like it. It was too long and flat. And I like the beads to have a little more substance to them. So I took and cut this right down the middle. And I'm going to show you. I thought I would actually wind a bead for you and show you how it comes out. Okay? So I got to make sure I have my glue. And here's my glue. And I'll just use white glue. I'll get it by the gallon. But I'm going to show you. Oh, man, you were very busy. You were very busy. Okay, so here is the paper as it's printed. I cut it down the middle so that I can make it smaller. See, instead of being like this, I overlap it like this, okay? So then I take and push this paper. There's a little, see that little trough right there? You put that trough right on the top of, oops, something was, got a little glue stuck in my bead. Hold on. If that, bead roller, sometimes what I do often is sit this in some nice warm water, get any glue residue that might be up in it. But if you don't have time to do that good soak, then just take a fine, very thin pen and clean it out, okay? But tonight, since I know that there's a little, since I know there's a little glue stuck in there, let me make sure I show you this again in case you didn't see it. Take and put a thin pen and just run it down, okay? But since I know there's a little glue in there, I'm going to soak it like this in a cup of warm water, and then by tomorrow morning, it'll be all nice and clean. So I have this overlapped, and I take and put the paper down in that groove. Yeah, see how I cleaned out that glue now? It goes all the way on. And then I start to roll it, okay? Then I like glue all the way down. The reason I like glue all the way down, number one, it's cheap. But that way it holds that bead into position. Because if you only have glue at the end, you can distort that bead. And I don't want to distort the bead. Now, when you seal it, it'll keep it stable. But, so I just ran that glue down the end of it. I try not to have glue on the back of these fingers because this is inkjet and it will run. Okay, so now I just hold this and I roll it up, trying to make sure I stay nice and even because it's getting narrower and you want to make sure that it's even on each side so that you have the same gentle slope. And try to do that as you go, because when this paper starts getting soft, it will get very hard to move it around. And there we go. Now, where it didn't roll perfectly smooth, I just take and I do like this and try to make it smooth. Now, one thing I like is to have a little glue left on my finger. I try to put enough glue on it that you then can take and rub the glue carefully because you don't want to make the ink run off, but rub the glue which seals the paper and seals those colors. And there is my paper bead. And once I put the finish on, this is going to look like a beautiful little piece of porcelain. So that I love. Then I was going to tell you how I made some white beads because I saw a woman who took the little water transfer fingernail decals and put them on white beads, and they were beautiful. Hi, Mary. So I made a lot of white beads, and I'm going to be trying that, and I'll show you that in my next bead video. So I thought I'd just show you those. All righty. So I'm just kind of giving you a little teaser about the paper bead thing. And I know Marcia's interested in it. I like making paper beads out of junk mail. You just never know what you're going to get in. In fact, it's like some things I'm like, Mark, you done with that? You done with that mail? Because I see, whoo, that looks pretty good. Oh, I wish, look, let me show you this one mailer. It came in taupey tones. Look at these beads. I went crazy over that. Then this was a junk mail mailer. Look at those great colors. So, and here was another part of the taupey bead. But I love, love, love. And this is all the color the colors that the mail just came in. And the taupey bead again, this one has a little more color. So I get a kick out of it. And then once I sand them and finish them, I'm going to segregate them by color so I can start making something with them. Because I have 5-gallon bags, I think, of beads. I better get busy. All right. So that is that. Now what I'd like to do is, the other thing I wanted to show you is I found, do you remember this that we made last year? This pumpkin wall hanging. Well, I want to finish it because I wish I had it on the wall. And I made it so it's 3D. See the puffiness? Because I did trapunto on the back where I cut out the, and once I quilt it, it'll really show up. But I want to finish this. So I thought that might be a project I work on a little bit while we chat. But first, I want to go look at the photos you sent in because I've got some doozies on there today and I can't wait to share them with you. So let's go look at your photos and then I'll come back and we'll just chat while I work on this pumpkin wall hanging, okay? Make sure that nobody asked anything. Oh, now that's a great idea. You can use, Kim Hicks said she likes to use junk mail to make her English paper piecing shapes. What a great idea. So very, very interesting. I love that. See, that's why I love talking with you about it because guess what? We learn so much from each other. That is wonderful. All right, let's go to your photos. Let's don't waste any more time. Let me see. Oh, okay. Let me see. My daughter sent a few little photos I want to show you. She went to a living history farm named Mount Harmon. I'm not sure. I got to check it in a little bit. But here are some of those costumes are around the time of the Revolution. So let me see. Okay, so here's this one. Wait till you see some that that Nadine sent. Okay, so they've got an encampment here. That looks fun. Okay, whoops. Okay, hold on. She was hoping for crafters and people selling wool, but I think she said they didn't have much in that way. Okay, I love looking at reenactors. That's the wonderful thing about fall. And here, some horses tied up. Love that paint. I've always wanted to paint horse. Oh, but there's a palomino. They're both right nice. Okay, and here is my daughter. Now, in Maryland, where she lives, tobacco was hung and air dried. They didn't use heaters or anything. So you can see that this year's tobacco, some of it's still green, and it's aging to a nice brown. And that's my daughter, Katie. And I'm not a cigarette smoker and not fond of tobacco, but I love what it means in history, which this was the cash crop. The country wouldn't have been settled without tobacco. But you can see some of it's still green, but it's starting to age. And it hangs in these barns. The barns have boards that louver out so that the air can come through and dry it evenly. And they say that makes a very wonderful tobacco. They've got a nice grouping of tobacco in that barn. So I just thought I would show you that because here on the East Coast, it's all about history. All about history. So, all right. Let's go look at some more pictures. Okay. Oh, here are some things that we were talking about, paper beads. So here are the things I downloaded. These are some interesting paper bead forms. And I like this because that way you're not wasting ink where it's not going to show. All right. Now, but they've got all kinds of paper you can download and print. But understand that costs you money, and my ink cartridges are very expensive. But some of the ways you can use paper beads, this was actually denim fabric, but there are some really unique ways that you can use to make those work. That was a bracelet. And then here's one of the papers I used, but I end up really filling in more colors so it wouldn't be too bland. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the beginning. And here is, I just wanted to show you, this is from the Stories of the Stitch right here. And I will get that edited and downloaded as soon as I can. I'm not sure why we took a picture of the grass, but the rest of it is all video. So I'll have to show you that when I get it edited. All right, let's see what Alberta has sent. She's been a busy lady. Remember last week I showed you her king-size quilt? I mean, gorgeous king-size quilt. Isn't that beautiful? The colors are perfect, especially for this time of year. This is a quilt she made for 2 of her grandchildren, and oh my gosh, they're going to love that. Isn't that sweet? And I love it because they're not scary. They're sweet. So way to go, Alberta. That's beautiful. And then she took salvages and she made a placemat. And she did all kinds of practicing with her quilt stitches. What a wonderful idea to use little bits and pieces and good practice time. Way to go, Alberta. That's lovely. Looks like she might even have done a decorative stitch around the edge. That's very nice. I love seeing that. Thank you for sharing your pictures with me. Now, Betty, I just wanted to show one more time her Garden of Eden quilt. And this was from our Misty Woodlands quilt. Love, love, love her version there. Beautiful. Then let's see. We have Miss Bonnie. She's been busy, and this week she finished. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love it, and I love the way, this is a log cabin. I love the way she did those 2 a red. To me, it looks like hearts. Isn't that pretty? That is very, very pretty. Way to go, Miss Bonnie. Okay, now let's see. Wait till you see this. This is our magical Carol. And she said, well, I just made it with what fabric I had around. Wait till you see. I said, oh my gosh, that is amazing. Amazing fabric. Absolutely beautiful fabric. Isn't that beautiful? And then look at that. It's just beautiful. It reminds me of a kaleidoscope. Look, isn't that just fabulous? So way to go, Miss Carol. Those are the prettiest blocks I've ever seen. Beautiful. So I'm very impressed, as I hope you are too. Now, Miss Charlene. Oh, I've got to ask her about the wedding. Oh, please ask her about her son's wedding and how it went. I totally forgot until I saw the ring bearer pillow fabric. Whoops, hold on. Go back, Deb. I was trying to show you this was her inspiration for her 3-element mini quilt. Look what she did with that. Isn't that beautiful? Her thread painting was wonderful, really brought it to life. Then she's also been working on Ricky Tim's kaleidoscope, and here is Alex Anderson's spinning spools. And there is her son's ring bearer pillow for his wedding. So gosh, Charlene, I hope it was a wonderful wedding. Okay, now let's see. Now here we have Charlene Piper. I'm going to show you again her 3-element quilt, which is a wonderful lighthouse. Really great work. Thank you, Charlene Piper. Okay, now let's see where we're going. I don't think I have all that much. Let me see. Where is... I think I showed you. Oh, this is me in the hammock, and all 3 dogs decided they had to get up there with me. They just had to. Oh, this was part of the kaleidoscope when I was working on it. Let me see. When I see something beautiful, inspiration on the TV screen, I take pictures. Whoops. Hold on. My finger got too fast. This is the kaleidoscope. I'm trying to get it quilted, but I'm a little slow. It's been a while since I quilted, and I'm a little rusty. But here is my frame room upstairs. This, I pulled out my LaFleur and started doing some handwork in the evenings on that. Whoops. Oh, remember I told you about a recipe I love making, and I was going to make a big pot of it when Mark was gone to the beach? Well, here it is. This is Perlo, and it's Perlo as I was taught by my mother, and she was taught by her mother-in-law. And this is bacon and lots of onion and a big cast iron skillet cooking. And then after the bacon is pretty well cooked and the onions are pretty translucent, I dump in the rice, usually 2.5 cups of rice. And I use the parboiled or Uncle Ben's rice. Then I add a can of tomato paste, unseasoned. And this time I added a little bit more than 1 can to it. Then I add double. If I do use 2.5 cups of rice, then I add 5 cups of water and some salt and pepper, plenty of pepper. And then I bring it up to a boil. It takes a while to get all of the tomato paste melted in. Bring it up to a boil. There, it's coming up to a boil. And then I turn it down to the very lowest simmer. And I let it sit for up to a half an hour. I come and stir it every once in a while, make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. And once the rice has absorbed all the water, then it's ready. And I love ears of corn when I'm eating it. So that was my Perlo recipe. Here is a picture that Mark sent me from the beach because he had a nice week at the ocean. This is on the inlet side. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And he loves taking pictures of pretty skies because he knows it always gives me inspiration for a future quilt. Isn't that beautiful? Then this is my beautyberry bush that I have several of them out front, and they look like a Dr. Seuss bush. They're called American Beautyberry, and they have purple berries. Isn't that amazing? Looks just like Dr. Seuss plant, I think. Here it is. I mean, it's just covered in berries this year. There it is again. The sun was shining on it just right. It's National Sewing Month for the next few days, I assume. Then this is my poor daughter. I've given her a baby off of my American Beautyberry, and her husband and son keep forgetting it's there and mowing it down. So she said, I'm going to put something around it so they stop cutting it down because she wants so badly. She wants berries. Don't tell her, but I think I'm going to put some berries in a package and mail them to her, poor thing. All right, let me go back to viewer photos. Now we have Debbie Holt. Here we go. And there is her beautiful mountain lake landscape quilt. I love the two inner borders with her black border. I love all this. Look at her thread painting with the grasses and leaves, and I love how it fades back in the distance. Perfect, Debbie. All right, now let's see. Now I'm going to go, oh, Dolores. Dolores sent some new pictures. Here is an apron she made for her granddaughter. Actually, I guess it's two aprons, or, oh, I know what it is. It's reversible. I love that. So this side has pockets, this side has a cute design. Way to go, Dolores. Then look at her Christmas block of the week. Aren't they nice? And I love how each of you has your own take on it. Beautiful, beautiful. Isn't that nice? So thank you, Dolores, for the new photos. I love when y'all send me photos. There's so much inspiration. And then, last week, our Miss Diana Wright made it from Texas all the way to North Carolina to go to Pineapple Fabrics. And there she is. She said, I think she said she bought over 100 yards of fabric and she doesn't feel guilty one bit. So she had a great time. I love that. Okay. Now, Miss Jody. Let's see. Miss Jody has her amazing collections of Saturday matinee idols. Isn't that amazing? Gosh, I love them. And then look at her Christmas blocks. I love it. Isn't that pretty? So, there we go. All right. And she's probably sent me another one. She's really good at doing them, but I just didn't have it yet. Kathleen Ziegler, I told you she was staying with a friend for a little while for a visit and decided to work on her Jenny Beyer Moon Glow. And I've had my Jenny Beyer Moon Glow for 20-some years and still haven't worked on it, but she's inspiring me to do that. Doesn't that just look like, oh, you just want to jump right in and work on it? I love it. Hope you're doing well, Kathleen, hon. Then, let's see. Who is this? Oh, I'm so glad I'm showing him again because this is my favoriteest felt animal that Miss Linda McCollum has done. And he's celebrating with us that she's back. We're so glad to see her. Okay. Now, Miss Lisa. And Miss Lisa, I'll just show you real quick, did the beautiful mural on the children's nursery. And just love it. There's her husband. Look at all this and that turtle. Isn't that wonderful? And she was the one that did the artwork with the nail polish and the alcohol to make the colors run. How cool is that? And I want her to let me know if she painted that vase, because that's an amazing vase. Way to go. I love your creativity, everybody. All right, now we've got Mary, and I saw Miss Mary come in. This was her inspiration for her 3-element mini quilt, and here it is. And I was right in my first guess. These are bats that are flying by at that dusky time of day like they do. Isn't that great? I love it. I thought it was bats, and then I said, well, was that birds? That is so cool. I love it. And now look what she's doing. I'm so proud of her. That is wonderful. One bite at a time, ladies. One bite at a time. All right. Who is next? Miss Melanie. Let me see. Oh, got to give a shout out to Melanie and her husband because that's his quilt made of little triangles. Here's one that she made, her beautiful iris quilt. There's her husband in one of his quilts. He was an engineer. And she just said, I wonder if you'd like to quilt. And now here they do. They sew side by side. How awesome is that? Way to go. All right, let's see who else we have. Melissa, our new member, Melissa, who is so talented. Look at her quilt entered in one of her local quilt shows. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? With the stones, the jewels, all of that quilting. That is gorgeous. Way to go. Look at, she made a quilt of her from her father's portrait. I love that. What a way to honor him. And look at this wonderful quilt. Look at the bucket of wheat in the middle. Isn't this beautiful? Wow. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep sending us your work because we love it. All right. I'm going to come back to Miss Nadine because I got a lot of fun stuff to show you. So Miss Patricia up there in Nova Scotia is getting ready for the next season. Look at this cross stitch she's doing. It is amazing. I love it. I mean, she's doing this little tiny border all the way around. Look at all this. So way to go. That shows she has stick-to-itiveness. I'm missing that. But anyway, wonderful job. And then let's see. Miss Polly and her wonderful, let me see if I can get this out of here this time. Okay. I don't know. Nope, didn't work. And here's her Misty Woodland and her tartan quilt. And hopefully we'll get some new ones from Miss Polly soon. Love her work. Okay. Now, let's see. Where am I? We have a new member from up in Canada. And I thought when I looked at her landscape, I thought it was Canada, and I was right. And she's up not too far from Miss Patricia in Nova Scotia. And here is a quilt she made. She gathered these fabrics for a year and did a beautiful job of it. Let me bring it up a little bigger so you can see it. Isn't that nice? Love it. And this is Miss Sandra, and I think her last name is Thiel, but I'm not sure. She lives on a settlement. And they do things like trade and barter for things. And here's a huge bag of potatoes she bartered for. Then here is some of the land around her settlement. I love, look at that. I think it's called a shelf. It's a type of fungus on that tree. A shelf, and now I've forgotten the other part of the name. But isn't that land beautiful? But I thought, that looks like Canada. And I got it right this time. Then look at this. This is some fish she has up there. I think it's like a rainbow trout. And she says she has 150 pounds in her freezer. So yeah, they really do live off a shared agreement. And all of that is very, very important. Okay, here'll be my last time to show Miss Cheryl's with an S, her grandchildren, some English paper piece texies. Look at those. Gorgeous. And I love the fussy cutting she did with all the fat cat faces. Wonderful. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that might be it. I think that is. Whoops. Did I move something around? Hopefully I didn't. All right, so now I'm going to come back to Miss Nadine. Miss Nadine says her work has been really busy lately and has been stressing her out, but she and her husband took time yesterday to go to a festival. The festival is at Berg Rabenstein, and it's down here in the southern, this is Germany, where she's from, and it's down about right here in Germany, okay? And this is called Berg Rabenstein, or as we would say, Castle Rabenstein. Isn't that place gorgeous? This is a castle that was built in the 12th century, and the von Rabenstein family took it over in 1557. But a couple of times during the 30-Year War, it was destroyed and parts rebuilt in 1648. In way back a few hundred years more than that, in 1450, it was destroyed, and in 1489 rebuilt. It's in Franconia area of Germany. And I just thought, this is gorgeous. So now let's look at the photo. It was like what we call a Renaissance fair. She called it Middle Ages fair. And it's absolutely beautiful. All kinds of people in costumes and crafters, vendors, musicians. Wonderful. So this would have been the village that was run by the castle. Okay. Let's go to the next photo. I think she loved this tree. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a tree that the species dates back to the dinosaur age. And I've seen one similar. Okay. This is in the courtyard of the castle area. And look at this huge stained glass window. This must be part of the church structure. Look at all the cobblestones on the streets. And isn't this beautiful? And it looks like, they've got like a little small water canal coming through there. Beautiful, beautiful. That kind of history is unimaginable for us. What parts of this do date back to the early part of the 12th century, Isn't that beautiful? I'm so glad that Nadine shared this with us because she has some fabulous areas of Germany that are just so remarkable. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. And here is a reenactor. Yep, they have reenactors too. Okay. Here's an encampment that they have some reenactors. It was interesting when I saw my daughter's encampment and thought, we have a lot in common. We both countries love their history. Okay. I one time held in my hand a lobster tail helmet that dated back to the 1700s. I was so excited. You're probably having the medieval games. And this is interesting, a huge bellows. So I don't know if they were doing metalworking, but I love the carved piece that's holding it has a hand carved into it. That's fascinating. Okay, look at this. So this is the Castle Rabenstein. And it is beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, look at this. I love that. I bet you anything this was part of the original. So beautiful. One day I hope to travel to Germany. It's a beautiful country. And I love the fellow shoes in this one. I said, now that's a look. Aren't they something? How cute is that? Mm. Here's more vendors. And there's that original tower. And I love, look at the little eyebrow windows. Beautiful. And she came home. She said normally she allows herself just to buy 2 pieces, but she couldn't resist this time. And I believe you put a candle in here and it acts like a little, it looks like a Christmas tree that you can light up. Look at this cute thing and look at that wonderful bowl. And she has one more thing she bought. There's that bowl again. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And then she bought a bird bath. And look at this awesome stoneware bird bath. Isn't that great? I love it. I know the birds are going to love it too. Let's see. Here is another photo of the bird bath. Oh, please, what is going on? Hold on, guys. Oh, my goodness. Mark was cleaning out the dryer vent today. Look at what he found in the dryer. This is the back, looks like the back of the dryer, and this is the tube leading into the dryer. If you use dryer sheets like we do, this is what's going to happen to your dryer. So please clean out. Have someone come and clean out that dryer every year. We do that now because you can kind of tell the dryer seems to get slower and slower. There's her bird bath again. Isn't that beautiful? So way to go, Miss Nadine. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun, and we learned something. So now we know if we want to go to Franconia area of Germany, that there's an awesome castle that is there. So thank you, Miss Nadine, for sharing. I hope I got the information right. I went online and started doing research. So that is wonderful. All right, let me come back to y'all. There we go. So, and don't forget about the dryers. Dryer sheets leave a stickiness inside the dryer. And unfortunately, the lint will build up and you don't want to start a fire. Plus, it wastes energy. So, anyway, let me see what y'all are saying. Oh, what a great idea, Mary. Put counters together. Well, right here, I have a dresser with a big piece of plywood on it covered in batting, cotton only, batting, and then the Teflon coated fabric. This was a teacher's desk, and I have miscellaneous tables over there, and I like when I can get a nursery school table, because then by the time I put it on wheels so I can roll it around, it's the perfect height. So I'm all for recycling, reusing. In fact, all of my cabinets around the room are all different. You just paint them white, nobody knows. I've gotten them from salvage places, from different kitchens I've remodeled, everywhere. So that's a great idea. Thank you. All right. So, thank you, Miss Mary. I do love my Katie girl. And I love that she went to a concert the other night. and Willie Nelson. Ooh. And isn't he the cutest thing? Oh, goodness gracious. All right. I'm not sure who else was there, but she sent a picture of him up on stage, and that was fun. Okay. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the camera down here and show you different things I'm going to work on for this quilt, because it's really a nice quilt and it deserves to be finished. And please chat with me. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll be glad if you have a problem with it, something, or you need suggestions or help. We'd love to help you out. And Laura R. has an idea. Hi, Sherry from Arizona. Hi, so good to see you on here again. Hello. You turned a spare room into a walk-in closet. Oh, how nice is that? On my wonky block. Okay, Laura has an idea on my wonky block. I've got to show you something before anybody leaves. Whoa, I almost forgot. Hold on. I have a quilt today. You know how I try to bring a quilt each week for us to talk about. Okay. And while I'm here, what made me think of it is Laura Rylander mentioned my wonky block. So I'm going to get it and bring it up here so we can discuss it. All right. And y'all remember that this quilt was made by Miss Nadine for our first anniversary or second anniversary a few years ago. But I have a quilt here to share with you. Okay. Here it is. Now let me get up and do something really quickly. Hold on. This is my New York Skyline quilt. Okay. This is my New York Skyline quilt. And you remember when these panels came out. And the New York Skyline quilt reminded me of Art Deco times. I think because of the buildings. Mark! Mark's here. I showed him the picture of the dryer vent.
Yeah, no panic, but, good thing.
That was a lot of lint. I told him.
Need a rug.
Yes, and if you use dryer sheets, it will glom up your dryer. Okay, so this is my New York panel quilt. And you might wonder, why did I turn off all the lights so you can't see it? Well, I'll show you why. When I would do trunk shows, this was always the last one I would show. And this is why. I call it my City of Lights quilt. So that is my New York Skyline quilt. These are supposed to be fireworks over the city. And I made these blocks because they look like Art Deco looking. Then I had done so much thread painting and trapunto work that the buildings are all 3D. And then I took and got a strand of tiny little LEDs and inserted them from the back of the quilt into, and isn't that cool? That is a lot of fun for me. I used glow-in-the-dark thread to do a lot of the thread painting, and but it didn't really show the way I wanted it to. So then that's when I said, I'm going to get lights and put on that. So there is my New York Skyline. I like surprising people. You know what I mean? Something you don't think about, and boom, it pops up. So, okay. I always, when I would do a truck show, I'd bring it out first, and then I'd have my daughter behind the scenes plug it in, and it's like, whoa. And yes, you can do all this stuff. That's what I love about quilting and fiber arts. It's the sky is the limit. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. And Maisie decided she needed to come up and see me. So I'm not sure why, but tell you about the top strip below the frame. What it is, it came off, maybe it was, now if I'm reading it right, you're talking about this strip right here. And I think it might have come off the panel, or it was, yeah, there's my Maisie. It either came off the panel or it came from a companion fabric. And I thought, I want to make it look like fireworks are up in the nighttime sky. So, because, you know how city sky doesn't always go completely dark because the lights in the buildings are on. So then I wanted a black sky, and then I wanted the firework effect in the sky. So, and I did a lot of trapunto work to make the buildings stand out and have like angles to them. So in a few minutes, I'll pull it closer and show you the depth part of it. So let me put my glasses back on and see what you're asking. Yeah, and it was panel that I decorated a lot. Take the 330 slice and exchange it with the 530 slice. I will definitely try that. Because maybe, so, I'm worried by the time I turn it, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, I had it turned upside down. Okay. Yeah, oh. Yeah, there's still, let me show you what she's saying. So if you take, you can see that I have the wrong slice here. Okay. She was saying try to switch them, but I still think it's going to end up, if this one just, or maybe she says I should switch these two. But see, I just, this dark one has to be here. And then this light one has to be here. Oh, it's a confusing thing for a dev. Okay. So anyway, but I will, thank you, Laura. Laura has been working on it. And, that is so sweet. I love y'all. I love the caring that y'all share with me. Maisie, I've got to put you down now because I got to show them the quilt, okay? I got to put you down, okay? Okay. Good girl. All right, let's get this quilt up here so you can see it better. I'm going to pull out the camera. This was a lot of fun. I even taught this. The only problem is, I bet you it takes forever to finish because, let me pull this out more. All right. Do you see how heavily I thread painted this? And then how heavily I trapuntoed, because it's a definite 3D effect. And I have some of the buildings that had a sharp corner like this, that look how look how puffy it is because of all the extra batting I put in. But you see all the thread painting? This feels like heavy tapestry now. It's got so much thread painting. It is very, very heavy, but I love what, it's probably the only one I'll ever do like that. But I have put metallics in. I've put glow-in-the-dark threads. I did just about I put hundreds and hundreds of hours into, and let me bring it closer so you can actually see all the thread painting. Okay, so like this fabric is the fabric, but then everything else I did was thread painted. See how much thread painting? I kind of overdid it, but now I'm glad I have it because it means everything to me. See, like this thread painting. So I do love this thing, but I wish you could feel it and be here to see it, because one of the reasons it looks so cool is because it is three-dimensional. I mean, I put layers and layers under parts of it to make it stand out. You don't think it's overdone? Aw, thank you, sweetie. So I love this quilt very, very much. And I'm very glad I did it, and probably will never do something like that again. So it's a one of a kind, that's for sure. One of a kind. So, and you know, nowadays with the new electronics, see, I made this probably 7 years ago. So with some of the new electronics, you can do just about anything. Anything. Okay. Feel free to ask me any more. Oh, somebody's birthday. Laura's birthday. Yay. Yay, Laura. Okay. So this little quilt I started last year. This part I have trapuntoed, and I'm going to try to color this seam right here. I put 2 pieces of fabric together for it. But what I've tried to do is have a pumpkin with, it's going to be a vine, and there's some of the new flowers, you know, that are going to make new pumpkins. And what I'm trying to do with this, oh, you like that? Sherry likes the thread painting. Thank you. And so I am going to, let me get my tailor's chalk, and I'm going to come around here. I want to make great big sloppy leaves to cut out and put on. And what I've got to do, what I still have left to do on this is to finish up with the leaves and get a vining, you know, make a piece of, like what you would use for a stem. So I'll double a piece of double fold bias trim, and I'll use that as the stem and connect some of these leaves. And here we go. And they're just big squash-like leaves. And so maybe I've got to figure out exactly where oh, that looks really good. So let me get my glue stick for right now. But once I get the last few things put on here and I feel like this is complete, then I will do some stitching to anchor it down. Oops, there's the leaf I just put on there. And I like all the different other colors because they'll peek back and forth through. But, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Because by the time the pumpkin is just about ready to be picked, the leaves have kind of taken a beating, if you know what I mean. And, but I just need a few extra leaves and get a stem going. And then I can do... Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. Actually, good question, Deborah. I did not, you won't believe what I did. I did not do buttonholes or grommets or anything for the lights. I took a sharp pair of tiny scissors and I poked a hole, trying to like separate the threads, poke the hole all the way through the back, from the back to the front of the quilt, and then shove the light in. I figured it's not ever going to be washed, so I don't have to, if I broke some threads, it's not going to unravel. But I took some very sharp, pointy, tiny scissors and used it like an awl and just came in from the back and popped it through to the front. I told you, I just make it work. So, okay, so this leaf, I think I'm going to try to make it look a little bent and starting to shrivel a little bit up. All right, here we go. And I love batik fabrics because there's so much. I would have to say that batik fabrics are the star of my art quilt studio. I would have to say that because you can get effects with batiks that you just can't get with solid fabrics. So before batiks became so widely available, I used to use a lot of marbles, but now, oh my gosh, batiks are wonderful. So this, I think I'll put this, I want some of the darker things to show, but let me see, or should I put it up there? Ooh, I think that's it. Let me get some glue. Now, when I first made this, I used fusible on the back, but I want to get this done right now. So I think for the most part, there. So that looks really good. And then I'm thinking about using this for the vining. I don't know if since the rest is going to be raw edged, maybe I could just, let me see if I can try to do some raw edged. All right, so I'm going to cut this about 1/2 inch wide. And I'm doing, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it in the camera. I'm going to do this about 1/2 inch wide and do a swooping vine-ish effect. All right, so here is, this can be one of the vines. Let me move this up a little. Okay, so let me see how I can get this. It's a little wide right here. Let me cut this back down a little bit. And at some point, somewhere, I'm going, okay. I'm going to put it back here. I'll lift this up, run it under here. And I don't want to waste this much vine because it's perfectly good fabric. Okay, so I'll glue it down here, then come glue this back down. And then I'll bring the vine out on this side. Okay. All right. Oh, I think it'd be really good to hide this behind this blossom right here. See that? I like this. So now what I'm going to do is put the glue on the back of this vine. You know, it's so funny how sometimes I'll use a liquid glue, sometimes I'll use a glue stick. Okay, let's see. Sometimes you have to just kind of give it a little push to make it lay flat. But I like that. And once I iron it, the fabric will shrink and fit in that section. And I want to do something really quickly. This, I'm going to cover the top of this. Let me cover the top of this because I have one color stump on the top of this part of the stem. I made 2 dark brown, but I don't want to change it because I want to get this done. So what I'm going to do is where this stem was a better color, I'm just going to take and cover that joint right there so you can't tell. And since this dried out, I'm going to put a little bit more water on it before I'm done in here. So now I'm going to hold this up and show you. I still want to put a couple more things, but let's see if I have filled it in just a little bit better. Okay. I've got the vine. I've got some more leaves. I think it's almost there. I think I'll put a little bit up here, maybe a little down here below this blossom, and then I think it'll be better. All right. And then once that's done, I will zigzag down with invisible thread, most likely. I'll zigzag down all the edges, and then I will layer it and quilt it and show you next Saturday how it looks. Because I might even put another layer under the pumpkin to really get that relief. So I like it. I like it. I like it. And when I do the thread painting, when I stitch it down, all down first, then I'm going to come in with some thread painting and make veins in the leaves, make some definition of what is a leaf, what's another leaf, where's the vine, all of that. Okay? So, any questions now, any of you? And happy birthday again, Laura. And I wanted to thank everyone. What I was talking about earlier is I had to go to a cardiologist, and another one of us talked about going to a cardiologist. I was very afraid to go to a cardiologist. Heart disease was the big number one in our problem in our family, with dementia and bypasses, early death. My aunt, I get it from my father's side of the family, and his sister had to have her carotid arteries replaced at 42, and at 50, she died of a massive heart attack. That was such a shame. My father, at 55, had a quintuple 5 artery bypass. And then my mother, before she died, had for years had congestive heart failure. So heart was something a little scary for me. And I had to, as part of my kidney surgery last year because of the tumor, they sent me for a complete workup, and they wanted me to see a cardiologist who found some calcification of some of the arteries. But I've been since assured it's in the normal 65-year-old woman range. And after they did the ultrasound on my heart is completely normal. So that's good. I was afraid it was going to be enlarged and have all kinds of problems. And, it was scary because my cousin on that same side of the family's already had a heart attack and, strokes and all those things I worry about. So I just wanted to thank all the members of the group because it's been a scary year for me with health issues. And I feel like I'm coming out the other side. And we want to be there for you. If you're having certain problems and you'd like a group of women that are all going to root for you, some of us love praying for people. Some of us just will keep you close to their heart. And we want to be there for you because we're a community. We're not just here just for fun and games. We are a community and we like to support you. It's a tough time out there now. And with the pandemic and everything, it's hard to get together face to face, but we're here and we're always going to be here for you. You've gotten me through the last year. I'm going to make sure I help you get through this next one. So let me know how you're doing. If you're having a test or something that worries you, let me know. And we'll keep you next to our heart. Okay, guys? So now just wish me well because I'm exercising daily and I'm trying to lose the rest of this weight so then I can relax. And I told Mark, when I finish losing this weight, I'm going to be perfect. It's going to be hard to live with somebody who's perfect. All right, all of you. Who was it that said they're off aspirin and they're getting a test? We'll think about you. We're so glad to see Miss Linda. We'll think keeping you close to our heart, sweetheart. So y'all are a wonderful group. Kim Hicks, are you the one that your neighbor knows my son, the drummer? Is that you again? Because I try to remember whose names are. Oh, Diane 57. Yes. They used to think that was no big deal, and then they found, it can increase your stroke risk. We will think, that's Kim. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. We got to love our drummers, let me tell you. Okay, guys, so I will see you next Saturday at 4 p.m., and we'll do a quick show because we'll see. I'm hoping to get camping at some point. We're just taking it I have no idea exactly. We'll take it as it goes. But y'all take good care of yourselves and keep sending me these photos. I get so excited when I get new photos from you. And I'm very impressed with the work you're doing. Any other questions, anybody? Oh, yeah, batiks are the best for art quilts. They are. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, whose husband? Oh, Perlo. Perlo, the best I know, is spelled Perloe. And it's so funny. I grew up and nobody outside my family, because see, my grandmother was Cajun from Charleston, South Carolina. And it was one of her family recipes. And my mother learned to make it because my father grew up with it and loved it. And so anyway, and I never heard of anybody else making Perlo, Perloe. And then I was reading one of Pat Conroy's books. I was at about the low country or beach music, and he mentions Perlo. I couldn't believe it. So some people call it red rice down in South Carolina. And you can put different things. People put sausage in it. I just stick to the bacon, onion, tomato paste, lots of pepper. Oh, I tell you what, I've always said when my day comes, I want to go out with a big pot of Perlo right with me. So, all right, you guys, you're absolutely wonderful. Any other questions I might have missed? So, oh, gosh, we're all about the same age, Marsha. That's wonderful. And if you haven't gotten your vaccination, please do. I'm begging you. I'm going to get my booster. Yay. And Mark says he's going to try very hard to get his booster too. He said, I'll go in and I'll kind of try to look a little bit older because he's a year younger than me. But I think we can get it. Take care. Mwah. Y'all are the best. See you next Saturday. Bye-bye, guys. Keep sending me those wonderful photos, okay? Bye-bye, guys. A boost. Yes, Laura. Woo! I am not ready to go anywhere, so I'll get whatever booster they want me to get. I've already had my flu shot. Did I tell y'all that? Had a flu shot. Oh, Marcia, so you know the fear. But I'm all better. My arm was sore for 24 hours, but got it done. This year's flu shot protects against 4 or 5 strains, so that's really good. Take care of yourselves because we have too much fun on Sundays and next Saturday. All right. Bye-bye. You are the best. Nice seeing you, Christine O'Brien. Very nice seeing you. Deborah Dunnell, it's wonderful to have you back, hon. All right. Bye-bye. Happy birthday to those. Bye-bye.